When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose Pro, Man-Made Survival, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you so much for what you guys do. Please share this video. Please like it, subscribe, and thank you so much for everybody that has left your comments, not only on YouTube, but on all the other platforms. I greatly appreciate it. What we're going to talk about today is the economy. All right. What I'm going to talk today, what I'm going to hit on today is not nearly as complicated or as detailed as you can find in the media, because I'm not an economist, or however you say it. But I understand enough to say, oh crap, you got to get out of the way. And this is one of those videos, because the economy is going down very, very fast. They have pumped so much money into it. They have thrown so much as they could, and it still fall down another 4,000 points today. They have lost, on top of the $6 trillion that they lost initially when the market started falling, they lost an additional 2.4 trillion. All right, so you can do the math very quickly. All right, that's a bunch of money. And and just out of those numbers, it should really freak you out, because that's just more debt, and the money is less valuable. Prices will go up because the money is less valuable, compared to any other precious metal. Now, we have always said, not just here in Members Survival, but as the prepper community as a whole, that once you have your preps in place, all right, you got to have your food, your water first. All right, you got to have your other tools. You got to have your medicines. You got to be able to have your farm, your little farm going, to resupply your food and your water. You got to have your gadgets, for EMP, whatever. Once all of that is taken care of, then you could move into precious metals, because that is a way for you to save your wealth. And let's say, even if you didn't have very much of it, in Venezuela at one point, with 1 ounce of silver, you can buy food for a whole month in Venezuela at one point, before the government got greedy and then just wanted to confiscate everything. But anyways, the point is that bartering with precious metals is going to be something that is going to be very important here in the near future, possibly, as it seems. All right, I'm kind of optimistic, because the Fed is going to do everything they can in their power to make sure that everything comes back up, that the economy doesn't crash, that the stock market doesn't crash, that the bubbles don't burst as bad. I mean, they're going to do everything in their power. They're going to cut interest rates. They might even go negative, all right? They're going to lend people. They're going to give people free money. But it'll eventually stop. We have so much debt, so much debt. And as you see, we're going to get into it right now, that it's very, very alarming, all right? The first headline is, "This is it." It's from goldswitzerland.com. This is it. The party is over. The world is now facing the gravest economic and social downturn in modern times. We are now entering a period of global crisis that will change the world for a very long time to come. This should come as no surprise to the people who have studied history and also read my articles for the last few years. Many others have also warned about the same thing, such as preppers. But since the mainstream media never talks about the excesses in the world, or the risk 99.9% of people are totally unprepared for what's coming next. And that's exactly what I want to avoid. I want people to know what's going on, to be prepared for what's going on. Because if we get this mentality of having the prepper lifestyle, all right, you have the things in place, you have a plan, you know what to do, there will be a lot less catastrophe, and there will be more plan of action. In a large populace, that would be great. I am certainly no expert, but it seems to me that it would be impossible to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Closing all factories, offices, schools, shops, railways, cinemas, etc. will paralyze the countries and the world economy. I would not be surprised if in the end the governments tell people to continue as normal rather than to quarantine everyone. To totally close down countries and production, leading to shortages of food will lead to surges of food and will probably kill more people over time than the virus itself. And either way, even I mean, what he's saying is true. What this person is saying is true. However, they are going to shut it down. We saw in Italy. Italy is the first Western country that shuts down an entire city of 60 million people. So Wuhan has come to Italy. And then eventually it will come to New York. It'll come to Seattle. It'll come to California. And probably many other cities as well. Before we know it, there'll be a shutdown here in the United States. Mark my words. Mark my words. Clearly, the central banks will soon accelerate money printing, and the ones that can, like the U.S., will lower rates. The 0.5% rate cut by the Fed on Tuesday seems like panic action, since the effect in the U.S. of the coronavirus have so far been minor. The problems are clearly in the financial system. Lower rates, more repos, more QE, etc. There are clearly major problems in the system. The rate cuts combined with money printing might create quick bounces in stock, sucking everyone in. But this time, money print will only have a very brief effect, because any correction up will be short-lived, and the subsequent big fall will be devastating. So this is definitely not the time to buy the dip. For anyone in the stock market, much better to get out on the bounces, because the stock is losing 94% against gold. So quite a simple decision. Get out of all stocks as well as other bubble assets and buy physical gold as the best form of wealth preservation and insurance against the worst economic downturn in modern times since the 18th century. Now, I'm not telling you to go sell all your stocks. That's what the article says, and I read it. But there's already voices out there saying that gold might go up as far as $20,000 an ounce. So if gold gets that high, we're more than likely gonna see a bunch of other stuff, prices as far as the supermarket goes, they're gonna go up as well. And it seems like they cannot stop this. It doesn't matter how much the government is trying. And they're buying stocks themselves. Like the Fed is buying stock, which is crazy, but still they're trying to do everything they can. So we're going to see in the next headline how much it has cost already. Coronavirus is highly uncertain and global costs could be high. This from anu.presley.com. As coronavirus spread across the globe, new modeling from the Australian National University is set to help policymakers respond to economic costs in the face of pandemic and as the virus evolves. The research paper, which modeled 7 scenarios, is the first wide-ranging global economic assessment of the effect of COVID-19. 4 of the 7 scenarios in the paper examine the impact of COVID-19 spread to other countries outside of China, ranging from low to high severity. A 7th scenario examines a global impact where a mild pandemic occurs each year indefinitely. Even in the paper's low severity scenario, the estimated loss for global GDP is $2.4 trillion, with more than 15 million deaths globally. Yeah, 15 million deaths globally. The cost rise sharply as the level of the severity increases, with the highest potential cost global GDP rising to $9 trillion. Under the same scenario, the global economic outlook is dire. China's loss to GDP in 2020 is estimated at $1.6 trillion. In the United States, the figure is $1.7 trillion. Japan's estimated lost GDP is $549 billion. In India, the GDP in 2020 estimated at $567 billion. Our scenario shows that even contained outbreaks could significantly impact the global economy in short run. This from Professor McKibben, and is what he said. Here's the next headline, and I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it says, we have never seen this before. The last time the market did this, FDR confiscated all gold. And of course, they did that because gold, as the central bank has already admitted, is what they're gonna need in order to be able to restart the system. If it ever collapses, they're gonna need gold. So out of all of this, even though it's very, very serious and it looks like it's having a really hard time, you should really, really worry about it, like very worried about it when you hear when you hear derivatives are having trouble. The reason I say that is because of this next headline. Big risk, $1.2 quadrillion. You heard that right. $1.2 quadrillion in derivatives market dwarfs world GDP. And that's from AOL.com. One of the biggest risks to the world financial health is the 1.2 quadrillion derivatives market. It's complex, it's unregulated, and it ought to be of concern to the world leaders that its notion value is 20 times the size of the world economy. But traders rule the roost, and as much as the risk managers and regulators might want to limit the risk, they lack the power or knowledge to do so. Derivatives represent risk of unknown proportions, but unless there is a change to trader composition policies, one which would force traders to put their compensations at risk for the life of the derivatives, then this risk could remain difficult to manage. Unfortunately, he thinks that regulators are in a good position to assess the risk of derivatives because they do not understand them. Wilmore offers training in risk management, while traders and risk managers at banks and hedge funds have taken his course. Regulators so far have not. And if regulators don't understand the risk of derivatives, chances are great that Congress does not understand them either. So there you go. What's a derivative? A derivative simply is debt, all right, that people hold, and then other people make a bet on it, and then if they're right, they get the money, pretty much. All right, that's just very simplified. For example, if there's four banks, if two of them bet against another two that their debt is not going to be repaid, then they get the insurance money and they pretty much get the derivatives money. So with all the derivatives all around the world, it's $1.2 quadrillion. And the world's GDP, it's anywhere between $50 and $60 trillion. So they, of course, go way beyond that. And if you didn't understand my explanation of derivatives very well, you should look it up, because it's very, very important. When you start hearing that they're having trouble with derivatives because, the insurance companies cannot cover the cost, then you should really, really be worried, because that's going to make the economy collapse for sure. Like there's no saving it. There's no infinite money printing, and maybe even gold might not be able to do anything against it because it's just so great. And I know people ask, like, who do we owe this money to? I mean, I don't know, but the point is that they're there and they do play a role in the economy. So when that falls, everything else is going to fall like a domino effect, and it's going to be very, very bad. So if I were you, get your preps in place. If you have no preps whatsoever, do not even think about gold and silver or any other metal. First, get your food. You need at least 2 years worth of food. All right. The same thing with water. I know it sounds like a lot of water, but there's a lot of places that do not get any water, and we use a lot of water. If you ever pay attention to your water bill and it tells you how many gallons you're using, you just gonna, your mouth is gonna drop all the way to the ground, because you're gonna see how much water we waste. But anyways, once you have that, and then you have, everything else for preparedness, you have your plan of action, you have your bug out location, you take care of everything first as far as prepping goes, and then you can move into the precious metals, because precious metals is kind of like, the money that we're gonna use for barter. But if you have more precious, well, not more precious, but precious things like chickens, you can provide food, you can barter, then, and you set yourself up for that first, then you have trading power. If you set all that up and then you have gold and silver, then you get to keep everything you have, and now you have buying power to get whatever you want. So that's the point. Set your life first for for any kind of scenario, if at all possible. Take on the prepper lifestyle and then get onto the precious metals. If you have enough money to be able to do that all together, that's wonderful, more power to you. But if you come like a person like me that doesn't have very much money, and you go out and you first get that started and then you move into precious metals, then that's going to be the best thing you want to do. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe, because this information is very, very important. All right, you may be able to get more detail on the economy side of this than I can give it, and that's wonderful. But if this is the first place you heard it, then I'm very happy for that, and hopefully I take you on a rabbit trail to where you learn a bunch of stuff about the economy, because it's looking very, very bad. All right, but anyways, please share, please like, please let everybody know, and please help us grow. That's the only thing I ask of you. And again, my name is Jose Prado, Amendment Survival, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.